Well, this is a 1966 Morris Cooper S. I purchased this from a guy who started the restoration. It's taken him 10 years just to get the actual body prepared. So any rust filled and body filler applied. I'm not exactly sure whether... I've got a feeling that some of these panels are reproduction, and I need to look at the spot welding closer to find out. But at the end of the day, I don't care as long as it's a nice clean panel without rust. Bonnet is obviously off a different car. The doors appear to be reproduction doors because they're in just such good quality, but it's like they've been purchased maybe 10 years ago and they just sort of sat there idle. So yeah, they're actually pristine. A little bit of surface rust because they've just been sitting idle for so long. Look inside the boot. We've got pretty much all of the parts to get started on this. There's just a few parts that still need to be purchased. The interior, I've got the old seats, but they'll be recovered. Boot looks great there. There's no rust holes. Everything's been fixed up. And it's got, I'll just go over some of the features that a Cooper S has. So this is a Mark 1, so these brackets, clips here for fuel lines. There's meant to be another bracket here. I've ordered a replacement one here because that is missing. The work that the previous guy's done, he's added the hydro suspension's taken out, and it's, I don't know if you can see from there, probably not, but it's been replaced with coils on each of the 4 wheels. So that's like a fair bit of work he's done already. It's too dark there to see. Just needs shock absorbers for the front. I'll have to check the back ones. I don't know whether they're just the old ones put back on because it needs something to support the subframe. A quick look at the interior. There appears to be a little bit of like fiberglass work up here, but I don't know whether how old that is, but it still seems fine, so I'm not going to worry about that. So the interior is sort of primed, ready to be painted. So the big job to do now is to sandblast this bonnet and get that primed ready. Also need to fix up the holes for the badges too, because it appears to be a Cooper S bonnet, but the holes I have for the reproduction, the S badge, don't line up with those, so that'll need to be sorted out. And then again, the same with the boot lid. It's a reproduction boot lid, and it doesn't come with the holes for the Morris Cooper badge or the S badge. So they need to be, I need to, next time we're at the car, swap meet, take the measurements off an original Cooper S boot lid, just to make sure the badges go in the exact same spot. Alright, there you have it. Okay, I'm just removing the felting from underneath. The top layers, they just came off easily, but the remnants that are left behind with the glue just makes it so difficult to get off, because if I sandblast that, nothing's going to happen to it. Maybe, yeah, the sandblaster should be able to get this stuff off as well, but if it's thick like that, it's not going to go through. So just keep working at it. So here's where we're up to now. I found the most effective way of removing it was just to use a drill with a wire brush on it, and that seemed to get most of it off. There's still a fair amount on there still, but I'm going to try sandblasting and then just see whether that is able to get through it all. Alright, so let's give that a go. I'm going to start a little bit of sandblasting. I just want to show you some of the equipment I've got set up. This is a Blackridge air compressor from Super Cheap Auto. Purchase these when they come on sale. It's around public holidays, certain events. That's the best time to get them. This one's 140 litre per minute. I think that'll be sufficient enough. Sandblast, the particular sandblaster I bought, said it needed around 90 litres per minute. So that's the kit I've got set up. I'll just show you how I'm going to do that. So it uses a medium in a bucket. So all I need to do is connect up the sandblaster. Air hose goes on here. This is the hose that feeds the sandblaster, and then all I do is just stick that end into the bucket of sand. So I'll set all that up and then just see how it goes. Okay, back again. Sandblasting wasn't really that effective. Like I was holding it there for a bit. It worked for a bit, and then it didn't. I think the issue is the delivery hose. It's a bit kinked. That's stopping it from coming through. So maybe the top loader gravity fed sandblaster might be a bit more effective. So that's something we'll try at a later stage. But what I'm going to try putting on now is heavy duty paint stripper. I'm going to try that and just see how that works on it. So I'll paint some on and then we'll check it out. Okay, so I've just applied some paint stripper to sort of this section around here just to see how that goes. It's been about 5 minutes. You can sort of see what's happening down here. It's penetrated, eating up the paint. So leave it a bit longer. So that's working more effectively than the sandblasting, but we'll give that another 5 to 10 minutes and see what happens. So this has been like 20 minutes, and this is a lot more effective than sandblasting. It's just coming straight off. Alright, I'll leave that there. I'll come get some gloves on and then scrape down that bit and then apply some more and then see how it goes. Alright, this time around I've coated it again and I've covered it in plastic wrap because someone on one of the groups mentioned that it stops the paint remover evaporating too quickly. Gives it more time to react before it evaporates. So we'll try that and we'll come back in about 20 minutes and see what that's like. Okay, so the next day now, I've done a bit more work on it. It's taken a while to get it to this stage. A lot of applying more paint stripper, using the brush on the drill, and I just need to give this another scrape down, but we're getting there. Still haven't done the other side though. So get rid of this. Yeah. There's not too much to do on there. So I'll finish this off, scrape what's left on it, and then the rest we'll just use the either a wire brush or the drill attachment. So there we go, I've done a bit more sanding now. There's a few low spots, and that's where the previous coat is sort of still there, so I've sort of left that. That's ready for etch primer. Still got the other side to do. Okay, so today we're going to tackle this side of the bonnet now, and I was just going to sand it back and then paint it that way, but we'll do it properly since I've got the stuff. So we're going to put the paint stripper on and then see how that goes. I reckon this side will be a lot easier than the previous side. I'm going to sand it down with a 40 first, just to help the paint stripper penetrate it a bit better. So let's give that a go. Okay, so that's paint stripped the first time round. I'm going to put some more paint stripper on there and then try again. So the progress so far, got all the paint off, given it a sand down. I've left some of this bog where the low spots are, just so I know where I need to add some more and smooth over. I think there's too much on this side compared to this side, so I might have to build up this side a bit more. What I'm doing at the moment is sorting out the S badge, because the previous bonnet, you can see the emblem, there's a bit of marking here. It wasn't a Morris Cooper S. So what I've set up is a laser that's showing a beam through the badge, centering it on the badge to the center of the hood, right on the tip there, and that's going to give me a nice neat line here. I'm going to use that to help center the S. It's kind of like how I've got it lined up. You can still see one of the old holes behind it, but I don't know, that seems good enough. So here we just test fitted the bonnet just to see how it sits in there. I mean, like, compared to a modern day car, like the gap's a bit of a gap. I might be able to adjust it a bit, but the height seems okay. So I've test fitted the hinges on, just to see how it is. And what I noticed on this hinge is a bit of the original blue colour. Okay, so the progress so far, this has had a few coats of etch primer put on the bonnet, so that seems to have turned out okay. The next thing I need to do is apply some normal primer, sand it and use some ultrafine filler just for any little marks and stuff. There's not too many, but there's some. So that might be it for the bonnet for now, but I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to put the next coat of primer on probably at least for a few days, so we'll leave it at that for now. At least it won't rust for the time being. The next project on here, there's still a bit of tidying up inside I need to do before things start getting painted. And in the boot, there's a little bit of a dent, sort of just in that section just there. It looks like someone tried to actually just jack up the car from there rather than jacking up the subframe. So a few little bits and pieces. I've ordered that clip. It didn't come today, hopefully come tomorrow. That's an easy thing to fit that on. And I've got a few other parts inside too, but they're for down the track. There's not really much I can do at the moment apart from just clean and tidy up. So spray painting went alright. I've covered up all my walls with paint protection sheets. Compressor handled okay. That worked well with the etch primer. So I ended up thinning this one down to a ratio of 2:1. So 200 mils of thinner, 200 mils of etch primer to 100 mils of thinner. These cups are very useful if you're mixing your own paint, because you just work out the ratio, fill it up to the first part is paint, part B is reducer or thinners. The thinners I use, it's just a really cheap one, like the general purpose one, because this is good for using primers. Top coat, I'm not going to use that. Top coat, I've got some high quality concept paints, thinners. I've got a little extraction fan set up here, just going to let that keep running for a bit. There we go. Okay, so a bit of clean up and then that'll be it for now.